Previously on the last Pokemon Crystal SuperMON run, I will try and stop having an existential crisis here in the Azalea gym, and coming up, I do like it hard from time to time, so if you do want to give me a hard one, please do let me know. Welcome back to SuperMON. This is the series where we grab a Pokemon, we give it 4 moves and 1 life, and we see just how far through Pokemon Crystal we can make it. Sometimes we get all the way to the end and we are classed as a SuperMON, and other times we end up being knocked out en route. And today's Pokemon TYRANITAR on stream was one of those that got knocked out en route far too early as well. We ended up having a bit of a terrible showing, and we got knocked out by Rival 3. We weren't able to outspeed the Rival's Haunter. It used Lick instead of Curse. We ended up being paralysed, and then Croconaw water gunned us to death. So I am hoping that doesn't happen this time. Now, I was actually very happy with the moves we picked on stream. I think we'll be giving those moves another try now, and then if we don't make it past Rival 3, we'll go back to the drawing board and we will look at a potentially different learn set instead. And now in terms of our 4 moves, we started with Rock Slide for a little bit of physical stab. We do have 134 in our physical attack. Then we went for Crunch, because even though we are mostly a physical attacker, our special attack is still 95, and that is huge. So getting some special stab will always be beneficial. Then we go for Earthquake. It's a brilliant coverage move. It's going off our stronger attacking stat, and it is going to be super effective against a lot of Pokemon that could otherwise prove to be a bit of a pain. And then our final move is going to be Ice Beam. This is just targeted for Lance, really. It's there to help make sure that we get rid of his Dragonite without needing to worry about a move that isn't 100% accurate. And I do think those 4 moves together will get us very far in the challenge. Now, we are level 5 with 26 HP. We're holding a berry, and our 4 selected moves are Rock Slide, Crunch, Earthquake and Ice Beam. 19 in attack, 17 in defense, 16 in the specials, but just 12 in speed. And that speed stat, I think, is going to be our Achilles heel in this challenge. As long as we can get some good Quick Claw luck, and as long as we focus on boosting our speed as much as possible, we should be in for a fairly smooth ride. And now with our moves selected, we can get on with the challenge. I think the opening of this challenge is going to be fairly smooth. I can't see any of the wild Pokemon or any of the early trainer Pokemon really giving us any issues whatsoever. We've got a lot of powerful moves, and we have huge stats both in our physical and our special attack. So it's probably going to be one-shot city for the early parts of the challenge. I am still worried about that speed stat though. I think that will be the only thing that will let us down in the course of this one. But as long as we get past Rival 3, I will be fairly happy. Now, I know a couple of people have been asking what the parameters are when it comes to redos in SuperMON videos, and honestly there's no set rule. It's just how I feel at the end of the challenge. If I feel like I've gotten the best out of the challenge, or I am incredibly tired after it, I will call it there, and they will be the points that we get for that challenge. However, if I think there's still more that we could do, then I will do a redo, especially if it goes down kind of pre-Rival 3 through to Jasmine area. If we get past Jasmine, and especially if we get past Radio Tower, generally I'm not going to do a redo, because we are well past the midpoint of the challenge in that instance. We saw that with a Pokemon like Magcargo. We got as far as we did, and then we called it a day there, because I don't think Magcargo was going to get through some of the battles it did first time, quite honestly. Anyway, let us now face the first rival battle. I've given him Totodile. It was a choice between Chikorita and Totodile, but because we have Ice Beam on the learn set, I thought Totodile would be a little bit trickier, and of course we had the Totodile on the streamed version of this challenge as well. By the way, if you do want to catch the streams, I'm live usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, and there is the occasional weekend stream as well if I've got the time, and if more importantly I have the energy. And it's on stream that we do a lot of testing, not just for SuperMON but for all of our different challenge runs. It's where I go to learn how to play some of the games. For instance, we'll be bringing back Gen 3 in the new year, so I will be streaming some Gen 3 just to make sure that I don't get completely lost in all of the mazes that are in the eastern half of Hoenn again. If you remember the Giraffaric anniversary stream we did a very long time ago, I think I must have spent about half an hour trying to get through all of the mazes near Pacific Log Town, so I definitely don't want that happening again when we go back to recording Generation 3. By the way, if you do want to see a preview of a couple of Generation 3 challenges, I have posted for HM friends and channel members only rough cuts of my first attempts back in both Fire Red and Emerald. They are really long, really kind of podcasty length cuts of both those challenges, and I don't take them too seriously. It's just about refamiliarising myself with the challenge, and they are HM Friend exclusive videos. So not only do HM Friends get early access to all of our challenge run videos, for SuperMON it's literally as soon as the challenge video is ready. I've had a little look through, made sure I've not said anything rude, crude or offensive in it, and then for our time challenges it's generally about a week in advance. But that will all depend on whether I've got a Pokemon backlogged or if I've had trouble getting a Pokemon across the line, but I try and aim for a week, but no promises there. And on top of that, there are the occasional little extra bonus videos as well that we do. Very, very occasional. I average at about one every 6 months or so, but it's just an extra little thing in case you fancy joining the HM Friends. And with that, we have already made it through Falkner. That could have been a dangerous battle there. Mudslap could have reduced our accuracy, meaning that we don't hit, but we got the good rolls. That means that we get our first 5 points on the challenge now. We will go and do a heal, we'll have a little chat with Professor Elm's aid, and we can start ascending the Sprout Tower. And now as we enter into the Sprout Tower, I do just want to say once again today I'm suffering from a bit of the old brain fog, so the words might not be 100% accurate all of the time. It's one of those things though, I made a promise not only to myself, but to all of you wonderful people that instead of trying to obfuscate and try to mask the difficulties that I go through on occasion, I will just try and show them anyway, because it's part of who I am. It's part of how I create content. I love doing the live voiceovers. I wouldn't change that for the absolute world, but it does mean that every so often I struggle for words. So there may be a few gaps and a few ums and ahs. There may be a few malapropisms as well, but I will try my hardest to at least make sense throughout the course of this challenge. I do really, really like the whole live experience. One of my favourite things about watching Let's Plays in the early days of YouTube was the fact that all the voiceovers were done live as the runs were happening and as the videos were being played. And there has been a shift in a lot of gaming content to the pre-recorded, more polished voiceovers. And while I think they're really enjoyable, they're just not what I enjoy the most. I really have a good time listening to people waffle. Sometimes when you waffle, you say things that aren't quite making sense, and you say things that you wouldn't say if you're scripting or doing a post voiceover. So we are just going to let the thoughts flow, because that's, I think, when I'm at my best as well. I've been doing live content for nearly 17 years at this point, which is scary to say, so I am absolutely playing to my strengths. We get through the Sprout Tower here, we get ourselves a lantern, and we're going to get the escape rope. And you can tell that we are in the slow level up group. We are only level 12 after Sprout Tower. And now as we are making our way towards Azalea, we are of course going to pick up the Prosecure Berry. That could potentially have saved us in the streamed version of this challenge, but I never like using the Prosecure Berry too early. There are a lot of battles later on where it could come in incredibly useful, although I'm not sure actually in this one whether we'll need the Prosecure Berry for Clair. Definitely won't need it for Jasmine because we have Earthquake for her Magnemite, but it's always a very good idea to keep hold of it for the later trainers where you really can get messed up if you end up getting paralysed. Now, I'm trying to be strategic with the trainers I'm taking on. I want to get as much stat experience as possible, preferably in our speed stat, and this Birdkeep has a Spearow. Spearow's a pretty nippy Pokemon, so we will take that on. Although not only are we focusing in speed, we are going to focus in our defensive stats as well. because I think the less damage that the enemies can do, even if you do have great defensive stats to begin with, the less damage they can do, the more likely it is that you are going to survive in SuperMON. That's something I really like about this particular challenge as well. Instead of just thinking about speed and thinking about getting through in the fastest possible time, you kind of have to think, if we battle this person, will that make a difference 15-20 battles down the line? If we spend 20 minutes beating up Poliwag, will we then be able to outspeed somebody who could mess us up if we didn't take that time? I love putting all the connections together to try and get as many Pokemon as possible over the line. Now, today's challenge wasn't actually supposed to be Tyranitar, it was supposed to be Scizor. However, I just cannot get it past Jasmine. No matter what I do, I haven't figured out the clue or the key to Jazz yet, and I am refusing to give up on that Pokemon until we've defeated Jasmine and at least got to see the end part of Johto. So leave that one with me. It'll probably be in the new year now when I'll give it another try, but it has really left a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth so far. And that's reminded me of something actually. I've been asked a few times why I don't post a schedule of upcoming challenges, and the simple reason is because I don't know. I could have said that I have Scizor in the schedule, because I did very much aim to have Scizor in the schedule for this particular video slot, but with the nature of not only the timed runs, but these challenges as well, I just don't know which Pokemon are going to have good challenges until I sit down to record them. I'd say roughly about 75% of the videos I record end up making it out onto YouTube, but there is quite a big proportion of videos just sitting there doing nothing because I wasn't happy with something or I think I can do better, and those videos will never see the light of day. I'm one of those people, if I'm not happy with something, regardless of how much time and effort I've put into it, I'm just not going to put it out there. So that's something that, even if we get, say, to Clair or Lance with a Pokemon, but I think I played badly, I am not going to release it, because I feel a lot of personal responsibility for each and every one of these challenges. It may sound silly, but I know that every single Pokemon that I run is going to be somebody's favourite, so I feel responsible for giving that Pokemon a fair go and for trying to get the best out of it. Because if somebody's favourite Pokemon, for instance, is Scizor, and I know it's a lot of people's favourite Pokemon, they'd be incredibly disappointed if we weren't able to get past Jasmine. So I will then keep trying and coming up with completely different strategies to see if eventually I can find the key to getting past her in SuperMON. And if I can't, I will then consider moving that Pokemon in to our 4-move series, because of course that is our backup series, in case a Pokemon either cannot make it through well in SuperMON, or it just wouldn't stand a chance in the first place. So that is where we still get to pick our moves, but we do get hidden power and return as well, to give some of the Pokemon who do struggle a little bit more of a leg up. Tell you who didn't struggle though, Tyranitar against Bugsy. 3 one-shots got us through that battle very, very easily. We are now going to do a very quick PowerPoint heal, and we will engage the rival in battle for a second time. This time he is going to lead with Ghastly, so we will use a crunch, and he has switched. We crit the Croconaw, so we don't need to worry about that. We'll one-shot the Zubat, and we will get rid of the Ghastly as well. That was a really, really nice rival battle. 3 one-shots is something I was not expecting there, but that does now mean we can start making our way through the forest again, where the first thing we need to do is chase this bloody bird through a hedge maze. I'm not quite sure why they decided to do this particular challenge. Maybe they just figured out how to code it. And much like me when I do ROM hacks, if I figured something out and I've learned how to code something, I will show it off everywhere. It doesn't matter how relevant it is, it doesn't matter how obnoxious it is, I will definitely be showing it off if I've learned how to code something. We will say hello to the green haired man staring at the tree. We'll grab our pair of ethers here. The repel will wear out right about now. And I forgot the second ether, didn't I? Goodness me. Brain, please engage. So the repel will definitely wear out about now, and you know what? we might want to do some grinding, so we'll pick up the honey jar here as well, so that if we want to beat up a bunch of Poliwag in a lake, we don't have to keep hurting our thumbs, surfing around, trying to get the encounters. Now, before we take on Whitney, we are going to take on quite a few of the trainers here on 34 and in Goldenrod City itself. I don't think we'll need to go north. I think we've got enough experience points around here. And actually, this is a typing that I am a little bit worried about. I completely negated to think about Chuck when I did the intro. We have a quad weakness to Chuck. So that means that both Chuck and then his mate Bruno in the Elite Four could be the end of the challenge. I hope not, for TYRANITAR's sake. But we will have to try our absolute best. We can, of course, in SuperMON delay Chuck quite far. He can be our 7th leader if we need him to be. And you know what? With a quad weakness, I reckon that's probably a good idea. Now, as we're getting ourselves ready for Whitney, I've just remembered there was something else to do with Generation 3 that I meant to ask you all about, and that is, which Pokemon would you like to see in which of the Generation 3 games? I'm not going to be doing backports in Generation 3, the backport videos are on hiatus for an indefinite amount of time now, but any of the first 3 generations of Pokemon I am happy to run, either in Pokemon Emerald or Pokemon Fire Red. I am going to like to do the easier Pokemon first, get myself familiarised with the game, but I'm not averse to a hard one either. I do like it hard from time to time, so if you do want to give me a hard one, please do let me know. And now we should have enough experience points to be able to take on Whitney's gym and level up against Lascarry's Snubbull. Before we do that though, we are going to grab the Rentalabra. That will let us teleport back to any Pokemon Center we like, providing it was our last visited Pokemon Center. It is an incredibly useful thing to have in the bag, because it will make movement, especially in this early part of the game, a little bit easier. We didn't one-shot the Snubbull there, but we did get through in 2, and we did grow to level 20. Let us take on Whitney now. She is our 3rd gym leader together today, a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. Now, if that Clefairy had metronomed a fighting type move, it could have been curtains for us. As it stands though, we are absolutely fine. We can double crunch the Miltank to get rid of it, and we obtain the plain badge, getting ourselves up to 14 points now, and we get a bunch more TMs to sell. Throughout the course of this challenge, I will be regularly visiting the department store here in Goldenrod City so that I can sell those TMs and get some vitamins. And getting Whitney's badge does mean we can now progress towards Ecruteak City. We've already done our first sweep through of the National Park, but we will pick up on our second sweep through the Quick Claw. That will help us get a 23%, roughly 23% anyway, chance of going first regardless of the speed stats, and with the speed being our weakest stat, it's absolutely something worth holding on to. We're not going to risk the Pseudo Widow. It does have a fighting type move, so we'll just run from it instead. And now today we probably are fine taking on Mr. Drowsy Man, because we are the Dark type and we are immune to his Dream Eater. We also outspeed and one-shot, which always helps as well. We are going to pick up this Ether in the corner here after we've taken care of a pesky Ledian that came in the way, and goodness me, I missed the Ether, and we get another encounter straight away. There we go. And another encounter. I'm really glad we're not against the clock on this so far. That would be an incredibly annoying section. And so I've been thinking about the best place to go to try and get up to level 25, and I reckon it is the Kimono Girls. We weren't at 25 when we battled the rival on stream, so maybe being at the full level will be what we need to make that battle a little bit easier. We are, of course, in the slow experience group though, so it does take a very long time to level up. Fortunately though, we didn't miss against that Umbreon with its sand attacking us. That could have been particularly frustrating. Are we going to one-shot this Vaporeon? Yes, we are. And then the final Jolteon will give us the last little bit of experience points that we need to get ourselves up to level 25. That is, of course, Morty's level cap, and we mustn't forget to get the raft. Otherwise, we won't be able to get very far when we either try and go to the Lake of Rage or to Cianwood City. Let's do another very quick heal and let's prepare for the rival. We will hold on to the quick claw. I think that's going to be very, very useful. We will cycle in to the burnt tower now. We will ignore Ucene. We do not particularly care about Ucene. We will plonk on a repel and we will prepare for battle. So this is Rival 3, hopefully the middle rival battle, and he leads with Haunter. Do we outspeed the Haunter this time? It doesn't matter, he has switched yet again. We get an almost identical opening to the last battle there. We two-shot the Croconaw, we can one-shot both the Magnemite and the Zubat, and then we outspeed and one-shot the Haunter. So we are through further than we got on stream. This is now new personal best for our Tyranitar. And I think, we should have a fairly easy ride through the next gym, because it is, of course, Morty's Ghost and Poison type gym. And that is now all of the gym trainers disposed of. We can move on to Morty himself. He is our 4th gym leader together today, a dual Ghost and Poison type spectacular leader, who led with Ghastly that went down to Earthquake. We Earthquake the Haunter as well, and here comes the Gengar. Gengar doesn't try to send us to sleep because we are immune to Dream Eater, so he went for Shadow Ball, and we took very little damage at all during that Morty battle. That does mean our new level cap is up to 30, and we have 20 points on the board. And now we're going to start heading towards the Lake of Rage next. And the reason we are doing the lake is because we have the quad weakness to Chuck's fighting types, so I think it makes more sense to take on the eastern part of Johto first, so that we can go in a little bit higher leveled than Chuck's Pokemon, because even though we do have the level cap, I've explained it a couple of times, but we can take advantage of how the level cap works. If we can defeat a gym leader below their level cap, we will then get the higher level cap that they give out. So for instance, if we defeat Jasmine while our level cap is 31, then we will be able to go and get a level cap of 40 instead for Chuck, and that is well within the rules of the challenge because we've defeated a much harder trainer, in theory anyway, and that's the way this challenge will always work. We've kept consistent with those rules from the very beginning. And I know it is a little bit of a loophole, but what is challenge running other than a series of loopholes that we exploit to try and get the best possible outcomes? Defeating the Red Gyarados does, of course, bring the Team Rocket's Mahogany Underground section into play, and after we have grabbed all of the items here in the maze at the north of the Lake of Rage, that is where we'll be heading. I don't think they'll put up any resistance at all, but hopefully, with the sheer volume of rockets that we have down there, we will at least be able to get ourselves up to the level cap of 30 in preparation for our next gym battle. It took longer than I expected it would to get up to level 30, but yes, we did have enough experience points here in the hideout in order to grow to level 30. In fact, we got to it on the first executive that we battle. Now we have just one Electrode left to go, and it's gone boom for us. So that does mean we have a very easy end to this rocket sequence. We obtain the Bath Plug, we also get an extra point as well, courtesy of Lance. We will count it even though that point is probably made of lies. And we can go in to our next gym together. We're going to take on Pryce's gym as our 5th gym today. Of course, Pryce is always guarded by the omnipresent Border Douglas here. I can't see him being any issue at all though. We can 3-1 shot with Crunch. And we can take Pryce on next. Pryce is our 5th gym leader together today. He is an Ice-type specialist who leads with Seal. We'll use Rock Slide against the Seal, we'll knock it out in 1. And then up next is Piloswine of all things. Wasn't expecting that. I think a Crunch to start. And then we will Rock Slide to finish to avoid the healing loop there. And then we can Rock Slide the Dugong as well. That went about as well for Pryce as you would expect. Glacier Badge gets us up to 24 points, and we have a new level cap now of 35. And now, having done everything we can in the eastern part of Johto for now, we can start going west, where life is in fact peaceful there. We're going to have a bunch of under-leveled trainers to try and get up to the next level cap. However, a lot of them have very good stat experience. This Dojo trainer, for instance, gives a lot of speed and a lot of physical attack. I'm just going to beat up this Skiploom trainer because I really do not like Skiploom. I know a lot of people love the Hoppip line, but I just don't get it. It's one of my least favourite grass types. It's up there with Ecruteak, Zarina from Gen 7. I just don't get the like for it. Especially in Gen 2, Hoppip is not a good line. It gets nothing going for it, and I think because I play mostly Gen 2, my judgment of it is clouded. I do appreciate that in later games such as Scarlet and Violet, Hoppip's line is very, very useful. It's great as a setup Pokemon, but maybe it's just the way I play Pokemon Crystal means I'm never going to gel with it. And another Pokemon I don't particularly gel with is Mr. Mime. This was our very first Halloween Pokemon together. I thought I'd do a Pokemon that a lot of people might not particularly like. A Pokemon that is a little bit scary because, you know, clowns do give me the creeps. Bad idea, it was my first and not very well performing video. So I have never ever forgiven Mr. Mime, even after all of this time. And it wasn't Mr. Mime's fault. I just probably should have run something that people actually care about for the most part. At the Moo Moo farm we did of course pick up the nuggets so we can sell for even more vitamins. And we got our one and only Minceberry and Johto. They were very, very stingy with berries in Generation 2, weren't they? In fact, it's very difficult to have enough berries versus the amount of battles where you would wish you could go in with a berry. So I'll be saving that Minceberry for one of the more tricky battles, one of the more dangerous battles, potentially the Chuck battle actually, because if he sends us to sleep, it will be curtains for the challenge, and I don't particularly fancy going down to Chuck. It's one of those trainers, I just don't have the respect for him in order to let myself go down on him like that. And now we are slowly but surely clearing out the Lighthouse here. We want to try and get as many levels as possible before going into our next set of battles. So that means I am doing full trainers in here, and because they're all fairly underleveled and because we're in slow, it is an absolute slog. At the top of the Lighthouse, Jasmine will lie about something. We don't care, we don't listen, we just get away. And I'm sure we'll have to cross the seas to get something for her at some point. And we will now take on this bird keeper here, who may even get us up to level 33 out of 35. I do like this bird keeper just because he's got a pair of Spearow and a Fearow, so they do give really good attacking stat experience. There's hidden Hyper Potion there if you weren't aware. Always like to pick that up because there is inevitably a point in the challenge where I don't want to use a full restore, but we have a lot of HP already down, so using super potions would be very, very slow. That escape rope seems to have been a bit of a dud. All it's done is take us back to the top of the Lighthouse, but it did seem to glitch a secret potion into our inventory and get us up to the next level cap as well. And that means we can now try and use the escape rope again. Yep, we're out of here this time, and we can go into Jasmine's gym. So, pre-warning, the run could end here. Jasmine could knock us out. I hope she doesn't, but we will give her a go. She leads with Magnemite. Magnemite's easy. This is the Pokemon I'm worried about, this Steelix. Iron Tail does a lot of damage, but we just kept her out of healing range. So we are fine with Jasmine. We obtain the Mineral Badge. We get up to 27 points, and now we have a level cap of 40 to play with. So that means I can do a lot of grinding here in the open seas, and we'll hopefully have a much better time with Chuck now than we otherwise would have done. I think slim pickings is the best way to describe the amount of experience points available at this point in the challenge. I've even resorted going into Union Cave here, where we're battling Pokemaniac Andrew, and he has the wrong ground type, because I always thought that Andrew should have a Sandshrew. This guy has a Kangaskhan, a very good Pokemon, but we can knock it out in one, and we are slowly but surely getting towards the level cap. On the upside, I'm seeing a lot of places and a lot of people that I don't normally see in these challenges, and I'm getting to see a load of Pokemon that normally would be completely avoided. Like, why is there an Eevee trainer in here for no good reason? Why is this where you need to go if you want to get the scene entries for all of the evolutions if you don't want to take on the Kimono Girls for some reason? Oh, goodness me. It's a strange place, this Union Cave. I don't quite feel at home here. It is also home of one of the most notorious cool trainers in all of Pokemon. This is called Trainer Nick. Now, if you are a fan of the bug catching contest here in Gen 2, you will know exactly who Cool Trainer Nick is. He is your arch nemesis when it comes to the bug catching contest, but he did give us some experience points. And now I don't think there's anybody else. I'm kind of lost here. It's like in the back alleys of like the dodgy part of town. Every town's got those back alleys where you know you shouldn't really be there, but you've got to go there for whatever reason, so you have to try and make your way through. That's how I feel at the moment. We do have a couple more hikers here before we'll actually see the ruins of Alpha on the interior for once to think as well on this challenge. Normally I'd cut out all this grinding, but it's a bit of a novelty seeing all these places and all these trainers who I don't think we've seen since the original Macargo challenge all that time ago. Over 3 years ago I think was the last time I did any kind of training at all in here. So I think there is one last trainer we can take on here in the Union Cave section. It's Nathan with his Girafarig. We're almost but not quite at 40, that's close enough for me. Let's get all the way back to Cianwood City now, goodness me. That was a grind and a half, and after beating up a wild jellyfish, there is nothing more we can do. Let's go into the gym I have been dreading. This is the fighting type gym, and it starts with a tag team, and I hope we can one-shot both of these Pokemon. In the grinding session I did get the soft sand to try and give us the best damage outputs for a physical move, and we are through the tag team. That is a very positive start. Up next is Nob. Now Nob has a Machop and he also has a Machoke, and yes, it's one-shots as well. Some might think that I've gone a little bit overboard here, but I really do want to give Tyranitar the best possible showing, so that has meant that I will do the grind to try and get to our maximum theoretical possible level cap at this point in the challenge, so that we can then take Chuck on and hope that we don't get completely annihilated. Because I don't think it'd be fair on Tyranitar to potentially go down to Chuck, even though we do have the quad weakness when it is a pseudo-legendary. We did get through, although we didn't one-shot the Poliwrath there. If we hadn't one-shot the Poliwrath, he could have gone for Dynamic Punch instead of Mind Reader, and he could have caused an awful lot of damage. But that means we're up to 30 points, and we stay the same with our level cap at 40. Defeating Chuck does mean we get the air balloon, and we can start traversing through the ice path as well. There are a few items in here that will be useful in this particular challenge. The Nevermelt Ice could come in a little bit useful. We also get an iron, and there will be a protein up there as well. Now, we are maxed out in our attack, so we can sell the protein. There's a PP up, which will be incredibly handy. And now we will fly to Blackthorn, and we will see if we've got enough money to afford our max repels. I want to get 15 of them this time because we've gone on a bit more of a trek than normal in these challenges. So I've gone through a lot of the repels I would normally otherwise get through. Down here we do have the elixir, we also have another nugget, and then a little bit further down we also have the PP up here in the lake, and there is a second Purze Berry right about here. And one final item I want to bring to your attention in case you don't know where it lives in Generation 2. In the Dark Cave from the Blackthorn entrance you can come in here, meander your way around, and you can get the black glasses here that will boost your dark type moves. We don't very often get to see the black glasses there because it's not very often we run dark type moves in Gen 2, but in case you were wondering where they were, that is where they live. And with that, it is now Rocket and Rival time. We've already done the first part of the Rockets, so we can go straight into the Goldenrod Underground to take care of a rival for hopefully our penultimate rival battle, and this time he is going to lead with Golbat. We'll use Ice Beam, make sure we get rid of it in one single shot, and up second is Feraligatr. I reckon Earthquake is going to be our best move for the Feraligatr, as Water Gun does a whole 22 HP of damage. We'll continue Earthquaking against the Magnemite. Earthquake might as well be the move we use against the Haunter, and I tell you what, we'll give Sneasel an Earthquake as well. Easy rival 4 there, and we can keep on progressing. And by progressing, I mean taking care of just the last Rocket Executive here. I'm never going to make you sit through all of the Radio Tower. It's such a horribly tedious segment, and it's 3 one-shots to get us finished here. That does mean that Team Rocket is dealt with once and for all in this challenge. We can get ourselves up now to 33 points on the board, and we can leave. We don't need the pink bow today, we don't need Sunny Day. The only thing left for us here in the Radio Tower is the radio card, so that we can then get ourselves through Diglett's Cave in Kanto. So 11212 is the answer to that questionnaire, as it always is. And now we can do a very, very quick heal, and it will be time for Claire's gym. And having already dealt with all of the trainers in Claire's gym, we can think about the main event itself and trying to take her on. She does have Surf on the learn set, which is a little bit scary, but I'm hoping we'll be able to tank a Surf against her Kingdra at the very least, and have a fairly okay time. She leads with Dragonair. We can get rid of Dragonair with an Ice Beam. Now, what should we do for the Kingdra? Should we Rock Slide turn 1, Smoke Screen into Crunch, hopefully, and Healing Loop? That is the way to go for that Kingdra, and then as long as both of our Ice Beams connect, we will have no issues at all. It really does seem to be that if your accuracy gets lowered, it will either affect you every single turn, or the game will pretend like it never ever happened. Now, of course, before we get Claire's badge, we have to take care of this little git here. This is so-called cool trainer Darren. He is an absolute word that I cannot say on stream, and I cannot say in a video, but I will dance in front of him to show that we have beat him up again. Oh, I can't stand that tiny little man. Anyway, let's get through the whirlpool now, and we will go and answer the questionnaire so that we can get Claire's badge. It's 11212 to get us through this questionnaire. That will mean that Claire will enter into the Dragon's Den. She will, of course, be shocked so that we got the answer correct. She will give us a Rising badge, meaning we are now up to a level cap of 42 points. And then we will also earn another extra 3 points, getting us up to 36. Getting Claire's badge does mean that we can start making our way towards the Pokémon League, but there are a couple of rare candies I want to pick up first. The first one, of course, is here in Mount Mortar. And then the second, of course, is here in the Whirl Islands. With both of those now in the bag, we can use the air balloon to get ourselves back to Newbark Town, and we can embark on our journey towards the Pokémon League together. En route, of course, we are going to take on a few select trainers just to get ourselves up to the next level cap of 42. And I think this trainer here will get us at least a good portion of the way there. It is very nice to be able to take on a trainer with a water type when you're running a rock type, knowing that you'll be able to one-shot them, because it does give you a little bit of security, and we can absolutely take on the Espeon man today. It would be foolish not to, considering that we can just one-shot with Crunch. We grew to level 42 against Beth and her Rapidash, and now after passing the badge check, we can make our way in to Victory Road. The only item we need in here is the HP up, so that we can try our best to avoid sand attack from Karen, and we will engage the rival in battle for one final time. He's going to lead with Sneasel this time, so we'll plonk Earthquake into top spot. We'll knock it out in one, and then for the Feraligatr, I think we'll go to Crunch. It should be a 2-shot, and the Spadef drop has happened. He doesn't do much damage at all, even at this point with his fully evolved Feraligatr. I don't know, maybe he should have taught Surf or something. We can get rid of Golbat, we can get rid of Magneton, and we can get rid of Haunter. And the final Pokemon is Alakazam. Kadabra rather, not even an Alakazam. We will crunch it away, and we have defeated the rival for one last time. That means we can heal up here at the Pokemon League. We will grab our 4 full restores, and now before going into the league, actually because we're SuperMON, we'll grab a bunch of full restores, and before going into the league, we'll have a little look at our stats. We are level 42 with 163 HP, holding the black glasses with Earthquake, Ice Beam, Rock Slide and Crunch. 151 in attack, 128 in defense, 116 in special attack, 120 in special defense, and 87 in speed. Do remember those are the 4 moves that we picked at the start of the challenge, and the stats on the stats screen are not indicative of the stats we'll have in battle because of the badge boosts. If you're interested in the stat experience at the juncture as well, we have 21,000 in HP, 41,000 in attack, 32,000 in defense, 34,000 in speed, and 34,500 in special. Now, before going into the league as well, I do want to make some predictions. I don't think Will cause any issues at all in this particular challenge. We have the type advantage over him. We do have fairly good stats, and even our speed isn't too bad now. So I think we should sweep him fairly easily. We've got quite a lot of moves that will do very well against Koga as well. I don't think he'll prove to be any issue because we can probably even one-shot the Crobat with Ice Beam. We've got Earthquake for the Muck, we've got Rock Slide for the Bugs, and then we can just Brute Force Fortress. Even if it does go boom, I think we should survive it quite easily. And then we move on to Bruno. And this is the most likely place where this challenge will end. I don't think we are surviving even a non-critical hit cross chop. So we really have to play smart and we have to hope for the best. And we have to try and figure out what is most likely to prevent that Machamp from hitting us with cross chop. If we get through Bruno, Karen will be a question mark, she always is. There's probably a fairly high chance of us getting through this time though. And then Lance should be okay. We've got Ice type moves, we've got Rock type moves. I don't think he'll really be able to harm us that badly. And then we will have to see what happens after that if we get into the Hall of Fame. So let's do it, let's see how it goes. This is Will, he is our first league member. He is a Psychic type specialist who leads with a Xatu. We'll crunch the Xatu when we do outspeed, that's a very, very good start. We'll crunch the Executor as well, and that brings us on to Jinx. Now we're probably better off using a physical move against Jinx, take advantage of her very low physical defense. We'll go back to crunching for the Slowbro and another one shot, and then we don't outspeed the final Xatu, but he went for quick attack. And that means we are through Will. 42 points on the board and a new level cap of 44, although we won't need to candy for Koga. He is our second league member. He is of course a Poison type specialist who leads with Ariados. We've got Rock Slide for the Ariados, and here comes Fortress. I reckon Rock Slide is going to be our best move against the Fortress as well. We crit it, so it absolutely is not becoming a bomb in this one. We'll use Earthquake on the Muck as it minimalizes. We will try and finish it off with a Crunch, although we have now been poisoned. Now, will Rock Slide one-shot the Venomoth? Yes, it will. And what about the Crobat? We'll use another Rock Slide. That's probably the best idea. Instead of Ice Beam, we get through one-shotting the Crobat, and that means we are now up to 46 points. Our level cap has gone up to 46 as well, and we are absolutely going to be candying for that level cap, because you know who's coming next. He is absolutely terrifying. Let's do it. I'm sure we will be absolutely fine. He leads, of course, with Hitmontop. We'll use Earthquake against the Hitmontop and we'll finish it off in 2 hits. We can one-shot the Hitmonlee, that is great. I don't think we're going to be able to one-shot the Hitmonchan though, no. So that means we get 2 turns of guaranteed damage and we're already down to just 61 HP. We can get rid of the Onix. Here is the Machamp, and I think it's going to be as simple as if we get a freeze, we win. Cross Chop's missed, that is good. I do think we need to play for Rock Slide Flinch next, or a double miss, that will also do. As soon as I clicked that first Ice Beam, I thought, why am I not going for Rock Slide? It's got a higher chance to incapacitate the Machamp. As it turns out, he got the double miss instead. 50 points on the board, and I can now take a very quick breather. And now I've also just had the terrible realisation that I've got to go through and edit the footage that I've done so far. I didn't expect to get past Bruno, and I didn't want to release this video unless we did get past Bruno by some miracle. So yeah, I've now got a huge mountain of editing on my hands for this video, because it hasn't been a particularly shortcut up until this point, regardless. And for it to all make sense, I'm going to need to stitch all of those pieces together. Let us now do our prep work for Karen though. That includes the Bitterberry, the HP up, and a single rare candy to get us up to level 47. And now we will take Karen on. She is a Dark type specialist and she leads with Umbreon. I don't think we've got anything too fantastic to get through the Umbreon easily, so we're going to start with a Rock Slide. A Flinch is good. I reckon another Rock Slide will knock it out, and we move on to Vileplume. Are we going to be able to one-shot the Vileplume? No, we're not, but she gets a Gen 2 miss. Earthquake on the Houndoom should guarantee its KO. Earthquake on the Gengar should also guarantee its KO, but interesting that we're slower than it. And then Ice Beam on the Murkrow finishes Karen off, and we have defeated her to obtain our 54th point. That gets the level cap up to 50. We have 3 rare candies remaining. Let us now go into our final obstacle between us and the Hall of Fame. It is, of course, Lance the Liar with the Flyers, and he's going to lead with Gyarados. So we'll use Rock Slide against the Gyarados. We'll take it out in 1. Then here comes the first Dragonite. We've got an Ice Beam for it, so we know we can one-shot it. He's sending Aerodactyl out next. Rock Slide could flinch, but it didn't, and we get the 1 hit on it. Another Dragonite comes out, and another Dragonite goes away. That just leaves his level 50 Dragonite to go, plus his Charizard. We have a quad super effective Rock Slide, we outspeed, and we have defeated Lance. That gets us up to 64 points on the board, and TYRANITAR has officially completed the Johto portion of its SuperMON challenge. That means that it can enter into the Hall of Fame there at level 50, and we can see what happens in the next section. Because don't forget, there's still potentially up to another 8 gym badges plus the red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And as always, we are rejoining the action here in Vermilion City, where we're going to go into the Pokemon Fan Club to get our first of 2 Cantonian rare candies. That one, along with the Cinnabar Island one, will mean we only have to level up to level 56. And while we're in the neighbourhood, I think we'll be absolutely fine at taking on our first Cantonian gym leader straight away. This is, of course, Lieutenant Surge's Electric-type gym. We've got Earthquake, he's not got anything really to hit us. I think this will be absolutely fine. He leads with Raichu, we knock it out in 1, and then here comes the first Electrode. It does outspeed, but it went for Swift, so we don't really mind. And up third is Magneton. Magneton's quad weak, of course, to Earthquake, so it goes down in 1. We hit through the double team on the second Electrode, and then the Electabuzz comes out to play. We hit it with an Earthquake, we grow to level 51, and we already have our first Cantonian gym badge. Very, very nice. It's always good to get off to a strong start in Kanto, and I think that definitely was one this time. And now we do have a little bit of storyline to deal with, of course, because the Kanto power plant is in trouble once more, so we'll have a little chat with the manager of it, see what he is all about. He wants us to return the machine parts, as he always does, and we know exactly where that lives. It is in Cerulean City, but before we do the machine part, we are going to go into our next gym together, because Sabrina is a Psychic type specialist, we're a Dark type specialist, and that means that we are immune to her Psychic type moves. So let us take her on. I was hoping we had a HP up in the bag, but we don't. We will just have to deal with the potential for Sand Attack, which didn't happen there, because we outsped the Espeon. We outspeed the Mr. Mime, here comes the Alakazam. It uses Reflect, but Crunch is special in this generation. So we get our second Cantonian gym badge. Marsh badge acquired, getting us up to 70 points on the board. So now we do need to keep on heading further towards Cerulean City, where we are going to pick up the machine parts in the gym. Now, I'm not confident about taking on Misty next, so we're going to pick up the machine part straight away, but we are still going to do Nugget Bridge. I think Nugget Bridge is good to get out of the way early. It's a bunch of relatively low-level trainers, and it will help us get closer and closer towards our level cap. And now I'm recording this a little bit in post, because I went back through the video during editing and I wasn't very happy with how I sounded or what I was talking about in this particular section. For a little bit of context, I just read a comment on the Macargo challenge when I was recording this video, and they accused me of cheating because I did the gyms in a different order, and that is something I want to address now, but in a much nicer way than, to be honest, I addressed it in the original voiceover, because I was very, very ticked off by that comment. So it doesn't matter what order we do the gyms in SuperMON, there is that little loophole between Morty and Claire where we have the 3 badges that can be done in any order. Now that is all well within the rules, we've kept those rules consistent ever since we started doing Nuzlockes here on the channel quite some time ago, so that isn't anything new. It's just something that's coming into more prominence now that we are running SuperMON, where we have the level cap on every single SuperMON challenge. So that is well within the spirit of the rules. If I didn't think it wasn't in the spirit of the rules, I wouldn't have put it in the video, honestly, and I wouldn't have played that way. But if you do want to do it in a different way, if you want to make the challenge even harder, then you can download the patch at trainersquidgy.com. That is the best way to play SuperMON, and that is the best way to do it within your own rules, because that's the beauty of challenge running. You can do whatever the heck you like. You make up your own rules, and nobody can tell you whether you're right or wrong, because it's your own challenge. So you can do whatever the heck you like. And now we are going to move on to Misty now. She is our next gym leader. She's a water type specialist, leads with Golduck. Possibly a bit of a mistake going in at level 52, but we shall see. We grow to level 53 off the Golduck. Out comes the Quagsire. Ice Beam is a 2-shot on the Quagsire, but of course it normally goes for Amnesia on turn 1. I misclicked there on Crunch. I meant to go to Rock Slide. Now that is well within the rules as well. I'm able to rewind if I do misclick, because you know me, I'm very clumsy. And then we can one-shot the Starmie. That gets the Cascade badge up to 73 points, and I'll now pass you back over to the live voiceover. Now let's take on 3Drill. He is a friend of the channel. He has 3 wonderful bees, and he is delighted to help us get even closer to level 54. With that, we might as well take on Brock while we're here. There's no sense in coming all the way to Pewter City only to leave to come back. We have Ice Beam, we have Earthquake. We will have a very, very good time against Brock. He is going to be our next Cantonian gym leader. I've lost count. Is he our 4th, our 5th? Something like that. And he leads with Graveler. We one-shot the Graveler, we will also one-shot the Rhyhorn. And then he will probably send out his Fossil next. Yep, he does. Soul Swap to Earthquake. 1 shot on the Omastar, 1 shot as well on the Kabutops. And that just leaves his Onix left to go. We'll use another Ice Beam, we knock it out in 1. And we get ourselves up to 76 points on the board. And we are now at level 54, so we are slowly but surely leveling up. I'm very glad we're in slow and not in, I can never remember, I think it might be fluctuating. That is the absolute worst. I think a SuperMON challenge in the fluctuating group could be our hardest challenge to date, at least to record, because there will be an awful lot of grinding when we get to the post game. And now we can have a little chat with Blue to make him make his way back to Viridian City Pokemon Center. We can grab our 2nd rare candy here in preparation for getting up to level 56. And then a quick surf takes us to the first of what will hopefully be 2 very, very back-to-back easy gym leaders. This is Blaine. Now, poor old Blaine is a fire-type specialist who leads with Macargo, and it's quad weak to Earthquake, so it goes down in 1. We've got the Bumhead Fire Duck that goes down in 1 as well, and then Rapidash is knocked out 3rd. Level 55 acquired, that is Blaine defeated and the Volcano badge obtained. Let's keep on heading east now. We didn't get an encounter in the sea, and that means we can go straight in to Fuchsia City Gym, where we have Janine waiting for us. Now, she is, of course, the lowest leveled of all the Cantonian gym leaders. She's everybody's favourite pushover and my personal favourite in Kanto, and she leads with Crobat. It's a one-shot on the Crobat, and I think it's going to be a one-shot all round. We're not even going to bother using our super effective moves for Janine. There's absolutely no need. We have the one-shots on everything. So this will be one of the simplest gym battles we will have throughout the course of this entire challenge to get ourselves up to 82 points, and we can leave here knowing that we've only got 1 standard Cantonian gym leader left to go, and that is Erica, and she lives in Celadon City. Now, Erica is a little bit of a pest. She's got a bunch of gym trainers guarding her gym. It's very weird actually, most of the Kantonian gym leaders have very few gym trainers at all. And then Erica says, no, I will take all of them, thank you very much. I had a load in my original Kanto gym, and even though budget cuts have hit, meaning that we can't have as many, I still want to try and fit in 15 in the space of this teeny tiny gym. Now we did hit level 56 in all of that, so we'll use our final 2 rare candies, and we will take Erica on. She's a grass type specialist, so we do have the type disadvantage, but we have Ice Beam, and we have a lot of speed, and we will have a very, very easy time here. I'm just holding down the A button, waiting for Ice Beam to connect on every single one of her Pokémon, and we can defeat Erica to obtain our 85th point and our final standard Kantonian gym badge. That means there's just one place for us to go now. It's back to Viridian City, where we will do a very quick heal in the Pokémon Center, and we will make our way around to Blue's Lego Fort Gym. Just before we take on Blue, I am going to swap to the leftovers, I think, for this battle, and then we will see how it goes. This is Blue. He is our final gym leader on the challenge. He's a mixed type specialist, and he leads with Pidgeot. We'll use Ice Beam on the Pidgeot, and we take it down in 1. Rhydon is next. Once again, Ice Beam's going to be super effective, and it's got no special defense. We'll swap to Rock Slide for the Gyarados. We outspeed, and it lands. That makes for a very, very easy time there. We've got Crunch for the Executor. He comes out with an Arcanine next. We will probably try a Rock Slide and hope it hits, and that will just leave Alakazam left to go. It uses Reflect, but we of course have Crunch, the special move in this generation, and we obtain our final badge of the challenge, getting ourselves up to 90 points. So now, regardless of what happens, there is only one battle left in this challenge. It is going to be a toughie, I think. I don't think anything is guaranteed in this challenge, mostly because of our relatively poor speed stats. If we were running a speed stat of about 80 or above, I would feel fairly confident in getting through Red, but with how fast some of his Pokemon are, nothing is guaranteed at all. And now, after traversing our way through Silver Cave, we find ourselves in front of Red. I will now Candy Jar off screen to get us all the way up to 81, and then we'll take a look at our stats. Candy Jarring done, let's now take a look. We're level 81 with 312 HP, holding the leftovers with Ice Beam, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Crunch. Those are the 4 moves we picked at the beginning of the challenge. 290 in attack, 247 in defense, 224 in special attack, 232 in special defense, and 168 in speed. Now, we are not going to outspeed everything, I don't think, with those stats, but because of the badge boost, we should at least be able to outspeed the Pikachu. So we'll use Earthquake against Pikachu, and that means our attack is not getting lowered. Interesting, he has sent out his Venusaur second. We'll use the Rock Slide and fish for a flinch. We don't get it, but Sunny Day is absolutely fine. We'll finish it off with an Ice Beam. And then Blastoise is next. Now, I am very happy that he's Sunny Day'd, because that means that he is going to go for Rain Dance. So that means that now he has shot himself in the foot, ostensibly, because we can then one-shot the Espeon. Here comes Snorlax. We are going to use probably a pair of Rock Slides against there. Oh, we missed our first Rock Slide. That isn't great. Body Slam did not paralyze us though, and we can knock it out in 2. And then here comes Charizard. We've got a quad super effective Rock Slide. We know what's happening now. We have defeated Red. We've got ourselves up to 100 points, and that means that Tyranitar is, in fact, a SuperMON. Now, I've put Tyranitar at the bottom of the SuperMON list because a lot of that was luck. We lucked our way through Bruno, we lucked our way through Karen, we lucked our way through Chuck as well, so I don't think Tyranitar was particularly strong throughout the lion's share of this challenge. We ostensibly brute forced this particular challenge, trying it on stream to get a rough idea of where we would struggle initially, and then I gave it a few recording sessions to get one over the line eventually. So I am very happy to declare that Tyranitar is a SuperMON. As soon as you stop facing fighting types, the run does get a lot easier with this one, but you do have to play strategically, and you do have to engage your brain to try and get through in the easiest way possible. But with that, we are done for another challenge, so I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want to see more SuperMON and other challenge runs. If you want to see them early, you can always join the channel membership and become a HM friend. But until next time, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.